Hi, today is Thursday, September 20th, 2018. Good night to our viewers and PEP members. Welcome to Frontline. My name is Janice Liamonda Creaky and I am the Public Relations Officer of the Progressive Empowerment Party. And my co-host tonight is the lovely Felicia Holder,
Lovely, thank you.
acting political leader of the Progressive Empowerment Party. Tonight we will be talking about the unanswered questions about the Petrotrin situation, which is still very most upper mind in everyone's mind, especially the workers who are going to be sent home at the end of this month. Initially, there are two reports that were brought into the public space. One, the Lashley report dated June 1st, 2017, and the Solomon's report, 650 pages. Did you read it?
I did not.
Oh my goodness.
I have it there and I say I'm going to read it, and just like the Constitution, me winding my way through, I will get through it because I do want to read it and pick up for myself all of the key points. I mean, I'm hearing the discussion, but I'd like to get the first-hand information myself.
There are quite a few appendices, and quite a few diagrams as well.
That's included in the 650? Okay,
yes.
So let's eliminate the 650 and assume it's going to be about 600. Give or take.
But I must say it is a very comprehensive and detailed report.
Number one benchmarking company in the world.
In the world.
Number one. So I would expect it to be detailed.
Yeah. My only issue is that the pages were not numbered.
Okay.
So when I was looking for certain titles in the table of contents, I just saw 2.1 or 2-1 or 6-1, but no page numbers. So I had to scroll through, quite a few pages looking for the relevant page that I wanted to get to.
Was this a leaked report or something?
I think, no, it's a leaked report.
That might explain why we got no page numbers. Somebody probably,
well,
I don't know.
Because the name I saw in the report, I would not say it here on Frontline, I'm sorry. Call me privately and I will tell you, but I am not going to say which company's name showed up on that report.
Oh my God! Now I have to go and read it. You can't even tell me what page number to go to.
It's on the first page. So you don't have far to go and look. It's on the very first page. And when you look at it based on the PDF file, you don't see the name of the company until you actually open it. And I went, oh my God.
Now I'm curious and I want to know who's that company. Give me a hint.
What is a hint? $100 million.
But why can't we say that? They are out in the public space. I'm going to say
but
AV Oil is on the report. I said it, so come for me.
I remain tight-lipped, okay?
I said it, not continue.
Right, so as I said, and not only that, upon reading the report, there is nothing that speaks to the closure of the refinery.
Yeah, I remember we got into that last week.
That's right.
In the,
neither do they talk about letting go so many members of staff.
We started off at 1,700.
17, which is the amount for the refinery alone.
Yeah, but that's all they mentioned. And
Correct.
then we went up to 35.
Correct.
Then we went up to, I believe, 40-something, 41?
41, yeah, probably, yes. And I was they say it's 5,000.
35 is fine, yeah. Was that confirmed?
Well, based on the information provided by Mr. Espinay, where he says everyone is going home, and he gave a number, I guess that number has to be correct.
Yeah.
Because I can't believe that he would to national media would be giving out figures that are incorrect. I would be very surprised.
Did you listen? I didn't actually listen to him speak, but I heard that it was very disingenuous and very cold and, oh, I made a mistake.
Yes.
It's not 1,700. It's not 35. It's 5. Was that how it was delivered? Yeah.
Yeah. But again, you see, it's very difficult when you have to talk about sending workers home. I mean, I remember when I believe it was BBTT,
Mm-hmm.
who also had a workforce slashing exercise. And how I heard the story was that they had they invited all the members of staff to a certain location, and then gave them their letters. You know.
Ouch.
So it's never a nice thing to do in terms of sending people home.
I get that, but in this case, I have to say no. Sorry, Mr. Espinat, Patrician government. No, that in a case like this that was so sensitive, so
Yes, yes.
controversial,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there was any room for error, and there were too many errors and too much confusion surrounding what is really happening.
Correct.
First, we are shutting down the refinery. Then we are shutting. In the notes that we have for tonight, and we will get into it. Now it sounds like no, we're just letting go of it being a state company so that it can become a private company and rehire people
Mm-hmm.
because we don't want to deal with the old staff. Kind of sounds
Well,
like a way of saying, you know what, this is the only way to get rid of the union, so let's do it. Like
that is the number one key. Because when I was reading the report, it was extremely clear that, and there's a particular phrase in the Solomon's report that I'm going to read out for you all as well, which reiterate the fact that it's not about sending home staff, right? But when I looked at it again, I realized, okay, you talk about baggage. No, what do you think is the baggage? Has to be the union. Because if you get rid of, once you close down a company and you send home everybody, there's no more union. And then as a private entity, you know, the union just can't walk in and say, well, okay, I am now the designated union inside this company. As a private entity,
there's no such thing as a union.
Well, not quite, because I know that there's a particular organization that is private, and a union is now part of the structure. It depends. There's a process.
I'm guessing
there's
so.
A process.
But if I had to give any chance to make Patrician private, with all of the woes and the trouble, and you know what's something I did not hear discussed at all in this whole thing is, you remember, was it last year or year before? It was last year when we had the whole pressure and the back and forth between the OWTU and the government for their, gosh, what was it? They wanted 10% and he gave them
for the
2%,
workers,
and
yes.
they actually got, how much did they get eventually? I think they settled on 5.
Probably.
Yeah, the government was offering 2. They wanted 10, and I think they eventually settled on 5. And that was a couple, wasn't that close to, I don't know.
A year ago.
No, I'm thinking in terms of the figures, I believe it was either millions or in the very early billions of dollars in terms of paying out all of that
correct
back pay. So if I had to start over, definitely one of the things, because as a private entity, you cannot demand. There's no such thing as back pay in a private entity. So maybe that's what they're trying to get rid of in terms of the baggage and the bloat. But back on point, wages and overtime and the OWTU was not the only thing that was wrong and carrying down Patrician.
Correct.
And Philip said it in his video last night, you know, he said there were so many people who are now coming out and doing live videos and saying all of the problems. Where were you before?
That's right.
Where were you before? And I am personally disappointed in the OWT when I say it like this because I believe that they should, apart from lobbying for the rights of the employees and the workers, etc., their voices also needed to be heard as it pertained to everything that was going wrong
in that organization.
So just like the little pockets of people now who popping up and saying Patrician was mismanaged, there were no clear guidelines, no vision, no proper operational structure, the board kept while we have people saying that now, we needed a body like the OWTU to not just push for a 10%
alone.
Not just push for employees to not be sent home. We needed an OWTU to actually look after the interests
Just
of
of the
not just the
employees.
employees but the citizens. And I want to make it very clear tonight to all my peppers and to everybody who is watching. This is not a OWTU and it's not that we signing with the OWT. What we share in common with them is that we do not want and we do not believe that Petrotrin should be shut down. But we are the Progressive Empowerment Party. We are fighting for the public. We are fighting for the citizens who are the majority stakeholders in Petrotrin. So the OWT is there for the workers. We understand that. But we are here for the citizens and we are fighting for them. We are fighting for us because when Petrotrin goes, what next?
Correct. What next is on the chopping block? But let's get back to some of the facts that I have here for you, because one of the things that the Progressive Empowerment Party is very conscious of is trying to educate and empower you, the citizens, with information that we come across, because I know it is a bit difficult for some people to have sat down and just read 650 pages.
Definitely.
Right? So we will do it, but I just bring you the salient points, which is important. So the Lashley report looked at the company's performance from 2007 to 2015-2016. And the report indicates the following. Well, one of the many things one of the more important things that was highlighted. Petrotrin over the years has operated in a state of confusion and it is in a very fragile condition today. The company lacks a clear purpose and identity, which has caused it to, at times, engage in activities that are not consistent with professional practices of a commercial enterprise. The Solomon's report states that Petrotrin is not truly being run as a business with the primary objective of maximizing its financial performance. Petrotrin leadership, union leadership, and the shareholder appears to have competing interests, and there is a lack of aligned commitment to the financial success of Petrotrin. While management has a responsibility to organize the available resources to achieve set targets and oversee the day-to-day operations of the company, as a state entity, the ultimate control lied with the government. Simply putting more money into a company will not resolve the problems unless the company has the right governance model, the appropriate organization structure, and there is confidence that its employees are capable of properly leading and managing the organization. The Solomon's report states that successful organizational change is the recognition that true optimization of the workforce requires a comprehensive approach that addresses all the critical elements that impact the efficiency and the effectiveness of the workforce. Nowhere in the report did they talk about the closing of the refinery or sending home all the staff. While a total of 34 changes to enhance the Petrotrin work processes, roles, and responsibilities, organizational structure, skills and competency, and automation technology were developed, these recommendations are focused and in direct support of Petrotrin, significantly improving their efficiency and effectiveness in three primary areas. 1. Organizational effectiveness, refining and marketing, and exploration and production. Further, there appears to be a significant opportunity to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of the petroleum workforce in order to maximize the financial performance of the business. While many companies attempt to optimize their workforces simply by reducing staffing levels or implementing a new organizational structure, Solomon has observed over the years that the most profitable businesses are actually focused on maximizing organizational effectiveness and financial performance, not just minimizing the number of people. The WFO recommendations identified with this project provide the organizational building blocks for Petrotrin to take an important step towards achieving its goal of becoming a top-performing business. The proposed organizational structure and staffing targets will equip Petrotrin with the necessary resources to safely, effectively, and efficiently operate and maintain the business, as well as capture significant value that is currently being lost.
Is this from the Solomon?
This is from the...
Touch it. It's like the Holy Grail. I'm getting to touch, and I can see it was a scanned copy,
Yes, it was
proprietary and confidential. It says confidential. I feel like I'm being naughty here by looking at it. This should have been made public, though. This needed to have been made public, and that's part of the issue around it. Like, why all the secrecy? You had two separate reports. One looking at the performance of the company. I believe it was 2007 to 2013. Lashley's
report was dated June
16.
1, 2017. Now, what I find interesting with that report is that it talks about having looked at Solomon's report. But Solomon's report is dated February 2018. So my question is, which Solomon report did they look at?
Was there another? We need to investigate that.
I don't know.
That is odd.
Though, mind you, part of the document has some charts, and they're dated November 2017.
And Lashley was reduced. Sorry.
Was
You're
dated
talking about
June
the
1.
Solomon or the Lashley?
I'm talking about Solomon's report, having some charts, 650 pages of document. And these charts were dated November 2017. But Lashley's report, and this is a report that I found on the internet, and I think it's about correct. Their report is dated the 1st of June 2017. Solomon's report is dated February 2018. So in Lashley's committee doing their own investigation, and there is talk about looking at Solomon's report. Which report did they look at?
Well, two things you can assume. One, there was a previous report that Solomon did. That's one.
Probably.
Or two, that this report by Solomon was ongoing. Maybe it started early. I'm not sure when it started actually.
It started earlier, before November. November, I believe, is when they were asked to do additional work on the workforce of Petrotrin, because it's stated in the PetroConnect.
Okay.
Right?
We need to investigate that, because I want to know. My curious fast mind needs to understand. Was there some previous reports, or was there some, it's easy to just change one figure and change an entire report and the whole meaning of the report, right? And
yes.
I mean, with everything, with all the secrecy and everything that this Petrotrin whole conspiracy, I call this conspiracy, is shrouded in, I'm in doubt there's some kind of something happening
there. I agree, because the first thing that jumped out at me when I was doing my research was the dates on the report.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like a bone, a dog with a bone. I had to find out
what's
the
happening.
timelines,
Okay.
But in my opinion, I believe that what has people upset about this whole Petrotrin issue is the way in which the government has not been truthful with the population. 1 minute it is one thing, the next minute it is another thing, and this has caused speculation and fear for the employees who are all going home soon. Now, what is also embarrassing, if I was Minister Khan, I would not want to show my face, because there I am making a statement that, and I'm the Minister of Energy, corporation sole shareholder, and I am saying one thing, and then Mr. Esther Pine comes out and says something totally different. So of course it makes me look as though you don't know what you're talking about.
Janice, come on. This government being embarrassed about something. Then Colm Imbert should be embarrassed for standing up and telling the nation back in May the recession is over, yet we have our major state-owned oil and gas company shutting down, or sorry, oil and gas refinery closing down. So then, what is it? Are we out of a recession? Are things going up? Are we making a profit? Are we in a deficit? Are we in debt? Are we recovering? Are we selling? Are we shutting down? What is happening?
This reminds me of a relationship type of affair where you have one party in the relationship is sneaking around and not letting the other party know what is going on. Mm-hmm. And when that person is caught, he or she gives one story.
Yes.
When caught in the first lie, then gives another story. And the lies just keep getting better and better until your best friend comes along and tells you some of the truth of what is really going on. So, once that happens, there's a breakdown in trust.
Yeah. And actually,
and when confronted, the attitude of the partner is to say, tough for you. If you don't like it, later for you.
You started that, and I had a similar thought, and it was same relationship thing, but actually from the perspective of when you go to somebody and you start giving them more information that maybe I wasn't sneaking around, I was just by a partner. Okay, and you believe it, and then you realize, but wait, your partner told me he wasn't home this weekend. Right. So where were you? It's like the more truth you get, the more they have to make up a lie. It definitely does seem like a very sneaky relationship that we're having with our government right now, who are basically creeping around, dating other people. When I say dating other people, we're hearing rumors about who has already purchased Patrician, while the Prime Minister is delivering a somber message telling us that it's shutting down. And if you had to document the entire
chronological,
if you had to document it's the developments of since we heard this news. When did it start? Sometime mid-August,
right? Around August or so.
Yeah. And
even late July, you were hearing the rumblings.
We were hearing the rumblings, but the time when they came out and actually said we are
shutting
down.
It's in August.
Started off, just very somber. The company is not profitable. It has been sucking. Remember last week we spoke about the fact that we have no hospital beds and no medication because of Patrician. And I mean, for the simple mind, for the people who clap when they hear the reason why we have no money now is because Kamala fought all in the last 5 years because it's possible to apparently empty a nation's resources in 5 years, and that no stealing happened before Kamala. But the people who would believe that, I can see them saying, I really understand, Patrician, I agree. But I'm really appreciating that we have a lot of critical minds on this, and I'm hearing Challenger in based in the States. He actually did a couple of videos that I watch and I listen to because there's so much information floating around, and even if you don't have the information, a regular layman at the side of the road would ask the question, how are we, like I mentioned earlier, how are we out of a recession but we're closing down our refinery? How is Patrician capable of turning a profit but you want to shut them down? And how can we have two separate reports giving us recommendations of how to make Patrician even more profitable, but it's being ignored in favor of a shutdown?
I heard a bit of Challener's interview with Philip the other day. And, and I tell people that they need to get informed because he was talking about some things. I tell you, my eyes just opened up because I said, I would never have thought that was going on.
Yeah.
Because he talked about Mr. Espinay, and he talked about Mr. Espinay's involvement in TCL and in another company, and the fact that Mr. Espinay got monies from TCL when they were sold, and it makes you really wonder what is going on, and he put it across in a manner that it's like what you call that gossip newspaper again. You have the one in London and the one in the States, and it's all about the movie stars and
Vanity Fair.
Not Vanity Fair, no.
People.
well, not just people, but there's another one. It's like a bacchanal kind of thing, and you could always open it and see some story. So I'm thinking, why is this not coming out into the public domain?
Yeah.
And we really need to be more mindful of what is going on. Listen, and most important, and I noted from Chalana, is that it is all out there on the internet if you know where to look. It's all out there, but how many of us will take the time and effort to go and search?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I was listening to a morning program and a woman called in and she's going on and on and on about Petrotrin. And they announced, the host said, he asked her just one question. He says, did you read the Solomon report? She went, no. He said, well, hear what? Go read the report and then call me back. Because she was just going on and not speaking about what was indicated in the report.
Yeah.
So people, please, the information is out there. Read. That's another thing. We have to read in order to get the information to make an informed decision.
But before that, and Chalmers, he actually gave us the answer. This was the answer. Inquirer, is that it?
Probably. The Inquirer.
Really?
Yes.
That kind of sounds like, it sounds kind of gossipy.
Yes.
But we still taking calls later.
Yes.
Charlotte, I saw you on the live, so in a little bit we'll open up the lines, and I would appreciate if you call in and give us, your whole take on this. You did put forward a very interesting perspective on this, and I like how you dropped the bombs and the files on what's happening. So when Janice says, I will encourage you to call in. Philip, if you're watching, I think I saw you pop up as well. Do call in today. We had a meeting. Yes. Janice, sorry you weren't there. The management team, the leadership team met to discuss, what are our actions towards this Petrotrin thing. Because, like I said earlier, the OWTU is there to represent the employees.
Correct.
Fine, but who is representing
the
citizens?
99%.
Yeah, who is representing the citizens
That's
of
right.
Trinidad and Tobago? And that was the point that I was about to make, Janice, that apart from reading, we first need our citizens to actually take an interest.
Correct.
I remember as a young girl, and I have to say young girl because this happened when Carney closed down in 2000. When did it close? 19 something or 2000? Early 2000?
Yeah, no.
1990 something. Right?
Yes.
Anyway, I was a little girl. Probably wasn't even 12 or anything yet because I was 12 in 2000. Yes. And I remember that time being young, of course not understanding, but hearing the talks from the adults around you and the gossip and whatnot, I got the feeling that this was not a positive thing. That closing down, that some people, I remember hearing, we're moving forward, we don't sugar anymore, no agriculture, toiling in the land. But then I got, again, another perspective, which was, this was a major income earner for the country
at that time.
And I remember they said the same thing. It was bleeding money. It was not profitable. And I remember the time thinking, is this a bad thing? But of course, 9, 10, I wasn't studying. Was I really that young? I don't think so, Janice. I feel like I had a little bit more, or maybe I was always a critical thinker.
Perhaps.
Maybe. No, but I remember digesting the info and thinking to some point that, I don't think this is a good thing. Or maybe it was just the influence of the adults around me. But I have the same feeling now and even strong, and I don't understand why more citizens of Trinidad and Tobago aren't worried that they're not marching, that they're not calling in every radio program, that they're not bombarding the newspapers with letters, that they're not outside the Hyatt, that they're not volunteering to march. Philip suggested today that people, you should have heard the length of that march. He wanted us to march 8 hours. I said, Philip, I think partly you're using this PP as your informal workout. I think you're piggybacking on the whole protest and walking action to get your your evening workout because you're not getting it because of the party.
Right.
But why aren't more people seeking the information? I'm not saying that you have to read 650 pages. I'm not saying that you have to go and find the Lashley report, that you have to, but take some level of interest in what is our country. Take some level of interest. we close down sugar. Our main income is in the oil and gas, yet we are closing down our major refinery. What are we going to live on? What are we replacing with? A private company is not going to earn anything in terms of the billions that we would have earned in foreign exchange for the country. So why aren't more people angry? Why are we hearing mostly from the unions? Why I put out a post yesterday telling people, you know, if this was a test, and I'm not talking plenty, but if this was a test by the government, you know, throwing a bone, I wonder how fed up Trinbagonians are going. I wonder if I could sell Petrochin, their company, I wonder if I could sell Petrochin and they would do anything, boy. And you know, I kind of get the feeling that this government is saying, I cannot believe, like I could see them sitting down in their little cabal.
Yes.
Bad cabal, because we call ourselves the good cabal, sitting down in their little cabal and just laughing at us that I can't believe we just get away.
Because on one hand, you're saying that everyone has to go home, and I think it's at the end of this month, right? But yet you're hiring a CFO, you know. You're hiring a CFO, so he's going to be the only sole employee in a building doing. How is he going to answer the phones?
He's going to be like the Stuart Young of Petrochin. He will have every job. He'll be the janitor, the security, the secretary, the board member. I guess that will be his role in the company, because I can't understand.
Because you cannot tell me you're sending home everybody because you don't want people to say, how come you sent home this one and you didn't send home that one? But yet you hire a CFO into the company, and I don't think he's going home like the rest of everybody at the end of the month.
Question: does Mr. Espinay have a job?
Well, he's still on the board. The board still exists.
So they're sending home everybody but the board.
Correct.
Okay.
Because remember, the board is put there by the sole entity, which is the government. The government still is going to be involved. It's just that, you remember like with the TSTT in Telco. Telco was owned by the government.
What year was that?
She was still walking around
I was probably creeping at the time.
Yes, and then in those days you had Textel and Telco. I went into Telco, and Telco was Poopson. Right? And I was not very happy to be telling people I was working in Telco at that time. But I was there during the whole transition of Telco merging with Textel to become TSTT. And then after that, they had the whole thing with getting a partner, which was Cable and Wireless at the time. And I was very involved with the whole with all the meetings and so on, because I was working for the GM Finance at the time, and it was my responsibility to get all the documentation and the secretariat up and running and so on. You know, so that is basically how, from a corporate sense, how I see it working. Now the board of directors was still there, guiding the process.
Well, Chester just confirmed that the board was not dissolved. And
Correct.
I'm so sorry I don't have my my phone open. I should open it just so I could read the comments. I know you guys have some really interesting contribution, and it adds to the actual convo. So thank you for all the information at the Inquirer, and that the board was not dissolved, and you're looking out for us. Thank you.
So, you know, and another thing too, I think that has people very peeved is all this cloak and dagger trips to Guyana, Venezuela, Australia, China, you know, signing deals, and we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know what you're signing away.
I think about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is probably, this man could probably, I think if the media could follow him into the toilet, and I've seen it like that, the toilet. I'm not being proper into the bathroom. If they could follow him into the toilet, they will follow that man. Or if they see him walk out of the toilet, and he and he has a square or a piece of tissue on his shoe. The media will spend a week disseminating and analyzing why does Donald Trump have a piece or a square of toilet paper stuck to his shoe. Was that because he secretly met with the Prime Minister of Syria and this was a code? If you I'm being ridiculous to point out this. The United States is the biggest economy in the world right now, right? There's nothing that the president of America can do without citizens hearing about it literally seconds or minutes after. There's Twitter, there's Instagram, there's Facebook. Information is pouring. CNN and Fox, they don't let up. They are on this man.
Correct. Yes.
Here, in our little 1.3 million, 2x4, our little dot in the ocean, we have a prime minister and a cabinet who can do whatever the hell they want. They can go and sell us out to the Chinese. Still don't know what's going on with the pitch lake.
Nope.
They could go and make deals in Venezuela and say that we don't have to know about it. They can go and have secret covered meetings in where did they recently go? China?
They went to China, they went to Australia, and I think he just came back from Guyana.
Exactly. And we have, as citizens, no clue. And worse yet, we have a media that has no interest in finding out either. So we're here, we're left in the dark, and we're laughing, but it's not a laughing matter because we still don't know who, what, when, where, why, how our pitch lake was not ours. And I say not ours because there's still no record of the last time there was a record of pitch lake and the money earned from pitch lake, I believe, was back in 2000 something, early 2000s. Kenneth and Chester, they might have that information. Let me see if anybody, I'll keep it up here. Maybe somebody might say something. But we have a media that has no interest in uncovering this information. We have a media, I saw the Mark Bassan report on Petrogen. But when I saw it, I mean, it's very informative. Mark, TV6, good job, good attempt. But I felt, I'm saying too little, too late. It feels like that because we're coming down the precipice and you're feeling like, there's very little that we can do, even though the Progressive
Empowerment Party. You have to remember that Mark Bassant works for an organization where, it's controlled.
Right. So exactly, we know that they're being beholden to the government. So there's no media, there's no independent media in this country that we can trust. And there's no... I was actually thinking about that yesterday. Is there any media that has "you can trust us" in their slogan or anything about trust? So. Because I would laugh. I would laugh because there's nothing that comes out of the media that I feel that I can rely on. I see them using their power to be spiteful. I'll never forget Guardian, CNC3. I'll never forgive you all for that very unfair article that you put out on us after the elections. You totally neglected to cover the fact that we were on the day that they called for shutdown that they claimed was not successful. You totally did not know that we were there, but you used the Monday morning to try and poke at us. And for the editor of that paper, I see you and I see what you did, and it's very sad that that's what you use what you use your responsibility for. You have taken digs at the Progressive Empowerment Party for our effort at the election, yet we have a company called Petrogen that for years and years, people know this, that they knew that this company was being run to the ground. Where were the investigative journalists to go into Petrogen, to go into the OWT, to go to the workers, to meet with people and uncover all of the nonsense so that we would not have been here today? Where were you then? That's why I say, good job on your report. Thanks to the information now, of what use is it to us now? What use is it?
Correct. It's very sad, and when you think about it, it makes you very, it's like c'est la vie. It makes you tired. It makes you want to say, look, you know what? Just so long as I have a job and I can go to the supermarket when the month comes. That's
But
all I'm interested in.
How long can we say that though? I know of so many
Not
companies
very
in the
long.
energy sector who have, in the past 3 years, and you saw it come in, it was a trickle.
Mm-hmm.
Not just three, in the past 5 years, it's been a trickle. This company lets go, this company restructured, this company quietly shut down and left. And then it started to ramp up, and you know, oil prices dropped down to $20 a barrel, and everybody's nervous, and you know, but nobody's talking because you know I still have a job. Oh, yeah, that company closed down. Oh, that one lost his job. Okay, but I'm okay. But
yes,
5,000 people going home, major state refinery closing down or being sold to a private entity is not a small thing.
well,
Multiply that 5,000 by at least 10, because for every one person who is employed with Patrician, they will impact at least 10 people around that.
correct. And not only that, there is a shortage of jobs right now in the market. So for those who are currently looking for a job, and on top of that, you have 5,000 people coming on top of that.
Yeah.
What is going to happen? I mean, have people really sat down and thought about what is going to happen in the job market with 5,000 people descending? Even if you say, well, okay, they take back 1,000 to work in this new entity, that's still 4,000 people without a job.
We're going to have 4,000 people on the breadline. We're going to definitely have an increase in crime, because I don't want to say that these 4,000 people are not going to turn to crime. But again, the people that they would have impacted, the little small vendor who was barely holding on, selling a little pies, a little water at the side of the road when a Patrician worker. These people, like I said, the trickle-down effect, they are going to be impacted. And crime, of course, will definitely go up. Anytime the economy is in a period of a state like this, crime goes up. It's not science, it's fact. And another thing we're going to have is, obviously, again, a brain drain.
Correct.
People, migration, applications to go abroad are going to increase. And me personally, I've had opportunities to leave this country, and I tell myself, one, I mean, this is my home, I love it, and I'm in a position where now, yes, I have a job and stuff, but I can't, me personally, I can't leave before I try. I can't, you know, if ever I were to leave, I need to know if I'm sitting down, sipping Long Island iced tea, that you know what, and I'm watching Trinidad on the news, God forbid, burning down. Let me knock again. Because I don't want that to happen, obviously. I'm here because I don't want it to happen. At least, but you know, if we have to get to that state, you know, at least Janice, we know we tried. But Trinbagonians, the onus is on you too. We alone, Janice and I, doing Frontline, Philip, Anthony, Shari, Pep, anybody calling and trying to get you guys to wake up. We can't do it alone. You have to take a personal and invested interest in your country.
And not just for themselves, but for their children.
For your children, people. For your children. Anyway, taking any calls,
Yeah, if anyone wants to call in and add their 2 cents, please call 290-8171. I'll say it again. 290-8171.
Did I just get ink on my lip?
No.
Okay, it feels like I did. I was trying to pull up the top of the pen and the whole ink
came off.
Yeah. I got my finger though.
Put up my right.
There's this I don't know if you saw it, there's this a video with this chick, and they're showing her entire life and how she's clumsy, and that is me 30. Everything that has happened to that girl has happened to me. I am so clumsy. Just before I left home to come here, I'm closing the door and my foot gets stuck and it grazes the back of my door.
We have a caller. Hello? Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Philip, and how are you tonight?
I am dying with this virus.
Oh my goodness. Well, you can keep it.
Don't take
This
him
is
on, he's
wh-
exaggerating. I saw Philip today and he looks perfectly fine, like a healthy horse. Stop being a victim.
It's a pain for the words, I'm not joking.
Yeah, sure. Oh, darling.
You all are doing such an amazing job with this issue, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
No,
Well, we
I'm
try
loving
to
the
wake people up.
I was enjoying the conversation, and one of the questions you alluded to earlier, I have to take a telephone call, so I'm new to the show, and I don't know if you asked this question, but I want to ask Trinidad and Tobago this question.
Mm-hmm.
If petrotrin is the principal means by which this country makes money,
Mm-hmm.
and we have not diversified the economy, what are we going to do when petrotrin is in private hands?
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do? This country has lived on a cycle of booms and busts for a long time, and we go into the red
Yes.
during the bust times, and we've gone into the red now. And it is when the booms come, because the boom cycle, that is the nature of the energy sector, the boom cycle will come again. But what they're trying to do is the next time there is a boom, it wouldn't be Trinidad's boom, it will be Massey's boom, or it will be Stanger's boom, it won't be
Correct.
ours, and it won't to the benefit of us
The
people, whatever the
population.
rent is or the percentage we get in, that will be the standing payment that we get, regardless of if it's doing millions or billions. And Trinidadians need to understand, and please excuse me while I use my trademark word, Keith Rowley is serving up a dish of teeny bullshit to the nation, getting them to believe that somehow there's going to be this excess money because we're no longer subsidizing petrotrin and it's going to pay for everybody's fantastic lifestyle. I want to ask Trinidadians to just do themselves one favor.
Mm.
Ask Keith Rowley, where is this money supposed to be coming from?
Correct.
You know? And I just wanted to put that in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Felicia so Chester said in the comments side that Chalmers is asleep, but it would have been nice if you could have brought him into the video like I did the other night, what that Janice was talking about. Because Chalmers has some insight into this issue, and it's good to know, and it's good for the public to know that we have experts at all levels. The Progressive Empowerment Party is a fully built out and established party, and if given the opportunity to sit with the government and the unions, we might even be able to mediate this issue to the best interest of everybody. The most important point you are raising tonight, the Trinidadians not get this, is that this is not a conversation just for the union and the government. This is a conversation, most importantly, for the people of Trinidad and Tobago who owns petrotrin and who both the workers in OWCU and the government work for.
Correct.
But all of them are our employees. This is our petrotrin. And they can make that decision on their own unilaterally. And we need to shut this country down permanently until they face up to the reality that they are not elected royalty, but public servants there to serve the people. And we do not agree with this idea, especially as none of the information put in the public space that they have used to arrive at this decision, none of it adds up. I have read in the papers today, Keith Rowley is saying the numbers are not the issue. That's like saying I am going to fly a plane, but I don't care where I am or where I'm going. I just want to fly. You know, he's a madman. The numbers are critical to making the decision.
Of course.
And clearly we the people of Trinidad and Tobago, the owners of petrotrin, us, the everyday people, we do not have proper information on which to make a decision.
Correct.
I think that we need to call for an independent assessment of petrotrin, not isolated to where it is now. That's where they're trying to fool people. Companies like Petrotrin live in an energy industry that ebbs and flows. And we need to know that we are ready to deal with making our decision.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
being such a long call, but I really wanted to add that. But I'm very
First,
very
sick
proud.
money, real talk him.
Yeah, I'm going back to that bed now.
Let me guys, you're going
But-
back to bed and cover and then shiver. Oh, please.
That's
Stop being a victim. Shucks, I'm not feeling sorry for you. Get a wife, let her take care of you.
They just put out a call for the
Oh Lord, good thing people don't know where you live in. We'll have a line only way around here, wherever you are.
Ladies, you have done a fantastic job, Janice. You brought a lot of salient information to the fore, and this is the exact type of conversation that Trinidad needs to be engaging in. Not
Yes.
in Mobilan and Bacchanal and old talk. We need to actually be dealing with the issues as it pertains to this matter. Thanks very much for taking my call, ladies.
Great. Thank you, Philip.
Thank you. Feel better.
Well, I hope to survive. Bye.
Bye.
Hope to survive.
Once again, anyone else would like to add their voice to this conversation, the number is 290-81771.
Let me
Yes.
go post that.
We have a hello, good night. Hello. Hello?
Yes, hello.
Yes, hi.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, just 1 second. Hold a second.
1 second.
Hold a second.
Sounds like Chester.
Yeah. Hello?
Yeah, this is Chester.
Right. Hi, Chester.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Hi, how are you doing? I'm watching on the computer. Normally I'm too close to my AirPods, but I'm watching on the computer while I'm talking on my phone.
Right.
Okay. Channel is sleeping, but what people don't know is that there's two of us. Number one, twin brother. Two, right, we both do research on this issue.
Right.
And all I can tell you at this point, we're looking at two different angles. One is that there's, in the United States, we have something called the Security and Exchange Commission. And we're looking over some of the laws of the SEC. So Channel will brief you more when he gets his up or when he gets all the information together.
Right.
But there's a way how to stop all of this situation with petrol-trading. Because number one, whenever you have entities that's based in the United States, like especially Nikon Energy, and you have a director that's on the petrol-trading board and also on the board of Nikon Energy, what ends up happening is that if you're doing something to kill one corporation and to shorten the bondholder's expected payout, because you have your business that is taking priority and which is actually not ethical, right?
Right.
There's ways that you can involve a next party which is like this Security and Exchange Commission, which goes beyond the borders of the U.S. if there's American companies that's involved.
Right.
So we're looking at angles like that,
SEC.
you know? Yes, right? Because they can do a lot of things. One, they can limit the bank transactions from Trinidad and Tobago because it's U.S. dollars if they think they're that slick. And so I can't give it all information because I'd rather Channel deal with it.
Right.
But this is one of the things we are looking at.
Right.
We are looking at to send to you guys so you guys can take it to the next level.
Chester,
But yes.
Chester, sorry to cut you because my interest was immediately piqued when you said that you think that you can stop, because today and in the past couple of days, that is what we have been meeting about, discussing on our groups for the past few days, actually since all the news broke, is how can we as private citizens, as the PEP, lobby to get this stopped? And is that what you're hinting at, that there's a way to do it?
Yes, I believe
Okay.
that he said that.
One is the Go ahead. Yeah, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to repeat what you had said earlier, which is that once you have someone who is on the board of a U.S. company and who is also going to be on the board of the new entity, and there's an attempt to stifle the new entity in Trinidad, that a complaint can be made to the SEC in the States, who will be able to intervene because their powers go beyond just within America.
Okay.
They would be able to intervene in this whole matter with Petrotrin.
Is that what you're saying?
Okay, good point.
Oh, no.
But good point. But it's okay.
Go ahead.
Here's the interesting thing. Number one, right? What are transactions that's going on between Nikon Energy, also with Nikon Energy and with Petrotrin and the U.S. bondholders who had expected a payout, right?
Correct.
They're all dealing in U.S. dollars. That's
Correct.
number one.
Mm-hmm.
And because they're dealing in U.S. dollars, right? And there's transactions between two countries dealing in U.S. dollars. You have a lot of issues there. Number one, right? If the bondholders, right, feel that they're getting screwed, and the whole thing was not in fair play, right? They can actually deal with that and the SEC. Now, I have some articles, right, that was from Bloomberg.
Right.
And Chano had the articles. So he's looking over it. And he found some instances where they actually were able to intervene. Because once they intervene, they can do a lot of things, you know. They could restrict the US dollar movement between Trinidad and Tobago and the US. They can do a lot of things.
Yes.
Right? But I don't want to give away everything yet because Chano is doing his research and he's putting everything together. Right? Much more than I'm just accompanying and helping him as best I can from my end. But there is something that can be done.
Right.
Chester, this Saturday we actually supposed to be meeting and discussing this issue more in depth. I don't know if you want to send me, Janice, and Philip a message. Just start a thread, pull in Challenger as well. Let's get the ball moving, because if we can attack this on multiple levels, that's what we need to do. We need everything. We need all these shots that we can get right now to go about this issue, because it can't just be that Petrotrin is being sold, being dismantled, and we as citizens are unable to do anything about it. So I like that the optimism that you gave us, and we can chat more about it offline, right?
Sure. I don't want to give away too much, but because right now, and the reason I don't want to give away too much, because we have other entities that's on the wall right now, right? I know who they are, and they are, and everybody wants to grab ideas for themselves, but this is something that we're working on with the Progressive Government Party to expose it, and I also, like I said before, Felicia, if you can, or Ms. Quickie, can message me your email address.
Right.
I can send an email on the thing.
All right, no problem.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Chester.
Okay, don't worry. I'm always around. I'm always silent, but it's the first time you hear my voice in a long time, I guess.
I tell you, every time I speak to you, I can't tell if it's Chester or Chandler. You all have to look the same and sound the same too.
It doesn't matter. That's the idea. That's why everybody thinks that Chandler is 24 hours, but you don't realize when he's up, when he's down, I'm up. When I'm down, he's up.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much, and I'll send you the information.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Janice, I know we're running out of time, but there's
Yes.
something that I promised Lima that I would have spoken about today, and that's the fact that we still have so many schools that are closed or unopened since the school term has started, which is now 2 weeks. Yeah.
2 weeks in, yeah.
What about the kids who are in SCA class? They literally have to write that exam in less than in a couple months. What about the kids who are going into that class now? And these kids are just home. And when I asked, I said, what are the children doing? They are just home. This is St. Francis Girls RC.
Right.
Now I'm hearing St. Francis Girls College is closed. Newtown Girls or Newtown Boys, one of the two. And it's too many. And you're not hearing all the reports. And why did they... I believe St. Francis Girls, they were closed because of a rodent problem. And they only decided to look at the problem and actually address the rats and whatever the week that school opened. What was going on during the vacation period?
That's right. You really have to wonder.
Also, something I wanted to raise, I was driving home from Massey Stores today and I saw a fire hydrant, water just spewing out. And when I tell you, it's upsetting because I know of residents in the Cascade area who have gone days without water. Me personally in Belmont, the other day I wanted to put up a status water. I just want to bathe. No, seriously. I just want to bathe. My mom came this morning and woke me up because I overslept. She's like, the government left a present for you. It's in the shower. Go and have one. Because they don't, literally it's been a bucket and dipper kind of lifestyle these days, and I can go on just another day in the Banana Republic.
Well, next week we're going to be also having another hot topic, and that's going to do with the La Brea shipping port, which it is alleged that a Chinese firm has been earmarked as the contractor for this project. And we also want to look at all the countries that China has gone into to date, lent money, and then just walked in and take the project or take whatever it is they have built.
Let's hope by the time next week we are not now added to that list.
Well, true.
Yeah.
True. What's interesting though is that the Chinese have been a key lender to Venezuela since 2008, when it first provided funds for infrastructure and oil projects in the country. This is a report from Bloomberg. In total, China has lent an estimated 79 billion in several installments, most to be paid in cash or oil, which Venezuela does not have. Well, they don't have the cash, but they have the oil. A possible strategic alliance on gold mining also is expected to be signed between the two countries. So who knows, just now we may have China taking over something in Venezuela.
Okay, what is
It's a total of 79 billion that they have lent them.
Somebody said they have to now brush up on the Chinese, and
That's
it's no longer Trinidad, it's Chinidad.
We have to be careful. And so next week we're going to look at that. There's a fabulous video that I posted where it is being exposed that China is buying up land in Africa.
Yes, I saw that.
We need to start paying attention, people, right? So we want to talk a bit about that, and being just a dot in the ocean, China can gobble us up and spit us out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So as we close our segment, I would like to invite members to tell your friends and family about our regular meetings. Employee screening for the job seekers, which will now become even more demanding, and housing initiatives every Saturday from 12 noon at 19 Stanmore Avenue, Port of Spain. Come and add your voice to the frank and open discussion and express your opinions. Executives of the party will be there to answer any questions you may have. Remember, we are here to inform, empower, and to educate you and to make you aware of what is going on in Trinidad and Tobago. Next week Saturday is our barbecue. It is one of our fundraising events.
Do you have your ticket yet?
Exactly.
If you don't, shame on you. And I say shame on you. Come and get your ticket. The office is open every day during the week, this week and next week, between
correct.
12 and 3. Come and get your tickets for the barbecue. This is how we raise funds. Also,
correct.
This Saturday, the youth arm, they are having their first event. So if you're a youth, I'm a youth still. I fall into the 18 to 35 category. Come down at 6 p.m. We're having an open mic session, very laid back, very rough back, under the mango tree. You know how we do things, very intimate. And we want to hear from you. We want to hear, as a youth, how are you surviving in Trinidad? I have to say surviving because I thought things were hard back when I was 18 and 19.
No,
I could not wait to wake. Now kids that age, y'all know what's ahead of you? Come and tell us on Saturday.
Yes, we will be liming and, especially the barbecue. So come prepared to relax with the members and the executive team, and let's talk politics or politics.
Come challenge us to all fours. We're going to have a little all fours competition.
Okay.
These days, Philip and I are being very competitive, so I think I would play against him.
That should be interesting. The Progressive Empowerment Party will be working for you and to ensure that no citizen is left behind. So become a financial member, because as you know, we do not have deep pocket financiers. You own the party. So therefore, we would like for all our members to contribute to the financial status of the party. We want to acknowledge all our members and thank all of our viewers. To those of you who are on the road, please be safe. Now, before I say good night, I believe that they're shutting down the Beatum where they want to do the walkover tomorrow. So
Tomorrow?
Friday? No, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So, I know some people have already indicated that they will not be coming into Port of Spain because you might as well just be prepared to sit in traffic all day because you're going to have to use the Beatum main road or go over the Lady Young or go through Santa Cruz
I
to
can't
get
believe
into
they're
Port of
not
Spain.
opening the bus routes. Just today we were discussing that and they said so far no information has indicated that they will be opening the bus route. So
Well, the question you have to ask yourself is, has anybody thought about opening the bus route to ease the
the
traffic?
question I want to ask is, we had 2 months for vacation.
Exactly.
August vacation for those kids. None of this could have happened, Seriously? Seriously?
So, to all our members and to our viewers, good night.
Bye.
Bye.